What's going on, everyone? 8-Bit Man here, and I'm bringing you some Titanfall tips for all those pilots out there. Before we jump into a game, let's fix up some of our control schemes. This is more of a controller recommendation, but I really prefer the bumper jumper layout. That switch basically your jump and your tactical ability from left bumper to X, so those two flop places. This allows you to have both hands on the controller while you're jumping and parkouring all over the game. So big fan of that. Allows you to jump, wall run, and shoot all at the same time. On PC, I don't know if there's a bumper jumper potential layout, but be on the lookout for that as well. I would be recommended on that too. The next tip I've got for you guys is I recommend starting with attrition. This is one of the original core games of Titanfall 1, and it's basically two massive armies going against each other. You know, all the NPCs, but they're team focused this time. So you will have your own team's grunts, there will be the enemy grunts. Everything you kill in this mode is going to give you points. It's going to help you get better at the game, getting used to shooting them, when to melee, things like that. And no matter how many deaths you've got, you're still going to be contributing to the team. Game modes like Bounty Hunt and Pilot vs. Pilot just kind of require you to have additional mastery of the game, and also understanding like you've got to go to these very traffic focused areas to drop off your things. And if you're new to the game, you may be caught by some of the more unique weapons out there. This seems like a no-brainer, but don't stop moving. Don't do it. When you're shooting, don't stop. When you're running, don't stop. When you're standing still, start moving. What are you doing? Keep it up. Moving while running. The whole point of this game is fluidity in your movements. Keep it up. Just don't stop. Be unpredictable. Much more difficult to hit if you're moving. Next up, I've got to say, take some time. Go into private matches. Learn the maps. Start to learn routes of the maps. How can I wall run from chain to chain across the map? But then when you're playing the game, start to look at the trends of where you're finding players, where you're having encounters, where people are running into you. Once you start to learn those, you want to do different ones than that. You want to catch people by surprise. Run on the outside of the building instead of inside the building this time. Loop around them. Catch people and flank them. This game moves so quick, no one can be watching their six all the time. So I highly recommend for new players learning those different unique routes and then catching people behind. As you get better and more comfortable with the game, you can feel about taking on those challenges where both opponents spot one another. But sneaky routes for the win every day. In terms of loadouts, so many ways to go, but whatever you pick, make sure that you play to your loadout style. Don't play out of it. If you got a shotgun, don't be running out in the open. Just don't do it. All right, we've talked game types, we've talked about movement, we talked about control schemes. Now let's talk about loadouts. There are tons of ways to play Titanfall, so I'm going to give you a few. Just keep in mind that these are just a few ideas for starting out. I'm trying to keep it with low item sets so you don't have to try and unlock a lot of things. Of course, I'd love to hear what you guys think of your loadouts and what you've been using. Let me know. I'd love to hear it in the comments below. That being said, I highly recommend using either Cloak or Pulse Blade. The reason I'm leaning towards Pulse Blade is for a variety of things. Cloak is great against Titans, not great against pilots. Very easy to distinguish who you are, where you are, and Pulse Blade provides just so many more utility things. One, it's still a blade. One hit kills. Do not forget. Second, you can just see around corners. It gives you a little more depth to where things are. That, coupled with an arc grenade or a gravity star. Granted, gravity star isn't unlocked till early, but arc grenade is fantastic. Throw a pulse blade, identify where they are, throw the arc grenade, go around the corner, eliminate them. Other things that I recommend is, even though you're small, you do a lot of damage to Titans with anti-Titan weapons. Highly recommend the I almost want to say the MLG, it's the MGL, and it's a two-burst grenade launcher. Phenomenal. By far, I believe, the best Titan taking down weapon. Obviously not great for pilots, but it's not designed to. And coupling that with an arc grenade blinds the Titan and the pilot, so it's a strong combo. Great recipe for taking down many Titans very quickly. In terms of the abilities that you should add to it, The power cell, I believe, is the one that increases that tactical ability. So whether you're cloaking, lets you cloak more, lets you throw more pulse blades, it's the way to go. The other ones are so-so in my opinion. And the other one is, I actually prefer the kill count or the kill cam or whatever it's called that lets you know where pilots have been killed on your team and the enemy team. This is amazing to let you know more map awareness. So once you start to learn the maps better, you'll be able to use this to your advantage to create quick flank routes or throw a pulse blade to figure out where they are, where the fleeing, assailant is. Primary weapons. Highly recommend the R201 carbine thingamajig. That being said, also a big fan of the CAR, which is also one of these starting SMGs. This gun is amazing. You can shoot this gun from the hip while running and headshot targets. It's phenomenal. Don't be afraid to shoot from the hip. All these games got you tricked with the aim down sights. Shoot from the hip. Hip. Granted, that's not to say that aiming down the sights is bad. It's still good, but a lot of the very skilled players are shooting from the hip. If you're not about going off them Titans and little grenade launchers not doing your thing, I highly recommend unlocking the Mazibalaba. I don't know what it's called. It's the M pistol shotgun. It's the third one down. That gun is awesome. 1 to 2 burst, close range, you shotgun kill somebody. So you can be coupling with the 201 carbine and the Mazibalebu thingamajig, and now you've got medium, long range potentially, and a short range weapon. Couple that with the pulse blade, arc grenade to slow them down, guaranteed kills. That's kind of my big recommendation on loadouts for starting out weaponry. To be honest, I love the 201. It's a go-to weapon for me. Use it all the time. That being said, if you want to know some additional loadouts that I've thought about, with less restrictions in terms of, items and whatnot, the G2 semi-automatic rifle is amazing. 2 to 3 shots, you get some nice place headshots while aiming down sights. You're going to kill people quick. You're definitely playing at more of a range here, but that's okay. This is when I start using my cloak, when I'm staying on the outskirts of the map, not when I'm going inside. To be honest, I typically will go with the G2 and the Maziba shotgun pistol because good balance of long range, long medium range, and short range. But if I'm going to go with that any talent or perk, I typically go with phase shift. Phase shift is super great for disengaging and throwing off opponents where you're going to pop up. So that's another one I would consider going on to as you start becoming more familiar with the maps. Those are just a few tips for you. Let me know what you think about these tips. Have any of them helped you? Are you on board with them? Are you not on board with them? I'd love to hear about it in the comments below. You can also let me know on Twitter. I'm 8bit_Matt. I really appreciate everyone watching this video. Can't do it without you. And so thanks. Really appreciate it. And I'll see you guys for my next video. Bye.